Crafters. Tonight we're going to walk through a couple Father's Day cards I pre-made, and we're going to make a Father's Day card using a Good Man's cling stamp set, and we'll use the Artfully Composed Designer Series paper for the background paper. A Good Man's cling stamp set will be retiring May 2nd, and Artfully Composed Designer Series paper will be retiring June 30th. So you need to act fast if you want those items. If you don't have a Stampin' Up! Demonstrator, you can go to my website and place an order, and you'll find that link down in the comments section below. Hi, I'm Joan Heberlein, and I'm an independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator, and I created this video for Joan's Simple Paper Crafts, found right here on YouTube. If you're new here, I want to thank you for stopping by. If you're a returning guest, welcome back. Be sure to subscribe by clicking the subscribe button below. That way you won't miss when I post a video, which is typically once a week. Now give me a few seconds so I can turn the camera down and we can get started. Here's the cards we're going to make tonight. These two I've made already, and then this one I am going to take you from start to finish. And we use the Good Man Cling Stamp Set. And we use just about every sentiment on here in each of these images. And then we also use Paradise Palms, these palms here, to use on the stamped image back there. And then A Wish for Everything, we use the Happy Father's Day for the sentiment on the inside of these cards. The paper we used is the Artfully Composed Designer Series paper. It comes 12 by 12 inches or 30.5 by 30.5 centimeters. You get a total of 12 pages. They're double-sided. And I used 3 of the patterns in these cards. A different pattern per each card. So I'm going to start with the For You. I'm just going to walk you through this card. Before I do that, then we use the Stitch So Sweetly dies. We used 2 of them, and these are the 2 that we used. This is for that piece up there. And this one we use down here. And then we used the Stitch Rectangle dies, and it is the 4th smallest rectangle of the larger rectangles. And that we used just to cut out all of those images. Okay, now we can start it on this. So first I'm just going to walk you through this For You construction. Here I have this piece and I have it nearly completed here. And I'm just going to talk through how we did it. We start with a piece of just jade at 4 1/4 by 11 inches, or that is 10.8 centimeters by 29.9 centimeters. And then we score it at 5.5 inches or 14 centimeters. Then we have a piece of Designer Series paper, which is 3 3/4 inches wide by 5 inches tall, or it would be 9.5 centimeters by 12.7 centimeters. Then our next piece is this one here, and that is cut with our die. Let me see what that comes out to be. So you'll want to have a piece of scrap paper that is at least 2.5 inches wide by, I'm going to say 4 inches long, or it would be, let me see down here, like 6.5 centimeters. That'll give you plenty of room. By, I'm going to say 10 centimeters. It'll give you plenty of room to cut that die piece out. So after we glued the designer series paper, then I went and stamped this image onto the die cut, and I used the Stampin' blends to color it. Here's the colors here. And this one I happened to use the Memento ink, but I went back later and I stamped it in the Just Jade, and I think that looks a lot better than the Memento ink. Then we went and we colored the little boy's hair, and that was done with Dark So Saffron and Light So Saffron. And then the boy's shirt I had done in Just Jade, and I just thought it blended too much, and I wanted to have it contrast, so then I just used the dark Calypso coral and light Calypso coral. And I will show you how I do that on another card. Then we have the little boy's pants and the man's pants, which were done in the dark crumb cake and light crumb cake. And what I basically did is I used the dark shade to outline those wherever the stamp had the shading indicated, and I just outlined that, and then I came in with the light to blend that out. You could start with the light and then the dark and then come back with the light again. I just did it with the dark and the light. And then the landscape squiggles down at the bottom, there were none on this one, so I just had that in excess. So you can ignore this part right here. So then we stamp the inside of the card. Being a good dad starts with being a good man. Happy Father's Day. And what I want to do here, I've already got this done, and this is done with dimensionals. It's added with dimensionals. But then I wanted to show you how I did this. So I die cut one in white and one in the Just Jade. And then I'm just going to cut this in half. And then we'll glue it together just to give it just a little bit of edge of the rim. And I need to find my silicone mat for this. So I am going to just take our glue, and I'm using our multi-purpose glue, but I have it in this little needle nose bottle so that I can do delicate areas without worrying about it going all over the place. So I'm just going to set this on here, and actually I'm going to put it in my hands because I don't want it to set up too quickly. And so I'm having it, the little edge down here, having it just come right above the white one. And the same thing over here on the left side. And then we'll do the same thing for the bottom. I was trying to pick it up with having it just stick to it, but it wouldn't grab it, so I have to use my hands. So I'm doing the same thing. So there we have that. And next I'm going to just attach it to this card. I'm going to put a dimensional on the left side, and we'll do glue on the right hand side. And I will use a regular size dimensional. And I just need to make sure I got the going on the right side here. The correct side, I should say, because it's going on to the left side. And then I'll just put a little glue here. And then I'm just going to attach it. And there we got our first card done. Then the next one we'll do is Thanks to You, I Grew Up Loved. And this one I'm going to show you how to color the pants and the hair and then the jeans as well. And so for this one, the color scheme we have is Evening Evergreen for the sentiments. Thanks to you, I grew up loved, and Happy Father's Day on the inside. And then we have the Natural Tone 800 that we use for the flesh tones. And then we use for the hair, we use Dark Crumb Cake and Natural Tone 200. So I'm going to show you how to do that right now. So I'm going to use the Dark Crumb Cake first, and then I'll come back with the natural tones. It doesn't really look like much, but I'm just giving it some background because I want to basically streak this on. I'm just going to do little streaks. And I'm going to curve it across the top of his head. Next we have our shirt. So we're going to use the Dark Saffron and Dark Daffodil Delight, and then Dark So Saffron again. So I wanted it to be a dark color, and then I used the stroke lines with the Daffodil Delight, and then I came back over it again the second time with the Dark So Saffron. So I start with a dark color, and then I put another darker color on top of it. So next we have is our pants, which is Crumb Cake. So the dark and light Crumb Cake. And we're going to use the dark first. And I am just going to outline where the jeans are. So these are the lines that were in the stamp set itself. And I'm just going over the top of them. And then I'll come back over with the light Crumb Cake. And pretty much blending these lines. Now this is light Crumb Cake is almost gone. So, and I am going to try and just use it, and I'm laying it down pretty flat. And that's how you should be using it when you're using it on large surfaces. But if I wanted to come back and do something delicate with this tip, it's not going to work anymore. Because the tip doesn't really have any color in it. And it's frayed. So it won't make it nice. So I have the bullnose tip I'm going to bring out to finish this up here. So I got the large portions done with that broader tip. And then I'm just going to come back through and go over all of that, the rest of this. And I'm going into the dark and then coloring it in toward the center. And that's done there. And then the shoes are done with a Natural Tone 300. And then the landscape squiggles here is done with the Natural Tone 300. And then the girl's hair was done with the Dark So Saffron and Light So Saffron. So I used the dark and went across the lines there, and then used the light to blend those out. And then her shirt is done with Highland Heather. I used the dark first over the lines, and then went over the top of it with the light Highland Heather. And her jeans are going to be done in dark navy, Night of Navy, and light Night of Navy. Then we're going to fade it with the color lifter. So let me get that ready for you. I'm going to outline it with the dark. And I don't care if it comes in quite a bit,
because we're going to use that color lifter to fade the jeans. Okay. Then we've got our light Night of Navy. And I'm just going to finish up any area there that I didn't take care of and kind of blend from the outside inward as well. Okay. So now that looks like a brand new pair of jeans, but I'm going to have the girl have it being a little bit worn. I'm going to use the color lifter, and I'm just going to go over this until it fades it out. And as you can see, it's leaving it darker at the edges, which happens when you have faded jeans. It's always darker at the seams than it is when you first buy it, where it's all one color. So I am just making sure that there's no blue left on this. So I use the paper to make sure that all the ink off from there. So then we've got everything done on this card. So what we need to do is put it on with dimensionals again. I'm going to use my Take Your Pick tool to get some off of this sheet here. And I am going to just put 5 on, 1 in each of the corners, and then 1 in the center. If you were going to put it in the mail, you may want to put on more. So we have those in place, and I'm just going to flip this around to get my pick on there again. And I'm just going to pick up the papers from the back. And then throw these in our waste can. I know I always say that it's so easy to keep them wrangled with that, but somehow I find them all over the house. And then I'm just going to put it on the left hand side. Try to put it on straight. I don't have it on straight, so let me see if I can't lift it before it sticks too tight. There we go. Okay. Then we have our thanks to you we want to have in here, and we're going to put glue behind it where it's here, and we'll put dimensionals just on the right and the bottom, because if I put it on all of it, this is going to raise up too high because this already has some dimensionals there. Well, I already have those done. So we got where we want our dimensionals, and then we need to just put glue up here. And we'll take our Take Your Pick tool to get those paper backings off from here. And then we're going to just put it on here. I don't see his feet because I covered them up, but there we go. Now we have card number 2 done. And on the inside, it just says Happy Father's Day. And then our last card is It's Your Day. This one, we're going to basically do all of the construction on it. So again, we have that 4 1/4 by 11-inch piece of paper, or 10.8 centimeters by 29.9 centimeters. And I've got it scored at 5 1/2, or that would be 14 centimeters. And I'm just going to fold and burnish it. And I'm going to do it on both sides because I want it to be a nice crisp edge. And I didn't quite match it here. There's like a 1/16 of an inch where it's not matched, so I'm just going to leave it on this side. This will be my front of the card base. Next we need our 3 3/4 inch by 5 inch piece of paper, or 9.5 centimeters by 12.7 centimeters. And this is actually a piece of designer series paper. That's what it is on the other side. And that's what we're going to use it here. But what we want to do is first we want to stamp it with those palm leaves. We're going to use Cajun Craze. I should probably have had these open already. And I'm just going to go all the way around the edge. And we don't have to go in the center because the card will cover that up. So we just making sure we've got coverage about a 1/4 inch in. And it's going in farther than that because of the stamp size. And I think we're done with this, so I'm going to close that up. And I will stamp this off. And then we'll go ahead and clean it with our stamp cleaner. We've got our Stampin' Mist. You can't see this, but I'm using it on the wet side. This is the wet side, and then I dried it on this dry panel. And next we're going to glue this down onto our card base. And we're centering it, leaving about a 1/4 of an inch for a border. Next we have this designer series paper, and it is cut at 3 1/4 inches by 4.5 inches, or that would be 8.3 centimeters by 11.4 centimeters. And we're just going to glue that down. I'm going to get it on this silicone mat because it won't stick there if I happen to miss. I want to make sure I'm putting this on the right way. So yes, we got it going the right way. And I am going to center it, leaving about a 1/4 of an inch all the way around. 1/4 of an inch comes to 0.6 centimeters. Okay, and let's go ahead and stamp the inside of the card and the outside sentiment. So we've got 3 stamps we need, and we're going to use this piece here for the outside sentiment. That is from our tailored tags, and I've already cut it out, and it's just basic white that I used. That happens to be retiring. In fact, this whole stamp set is going to be retiring at the end of the month. May 2nd is the last day to order. And we need to use our Cajun Craze again. So let's see if we can't get it open a lot easier this time around. This is one that I always have trouble with. And I just want to center it. Hopefully my head's not in the way. I'll pick that straight up. That works for me. It's a little bit off, but I'm okay with that. And then we're going to use our Relax Your Way. I'm going to put it on the inside of this card here. And then we're going to stamp the next one. Here we go. Happy Father's Day. And I'm going to, again, close up my ink. And we'll scrub our stamps right away so that I'm not putting anything away with ink on it. I didn't need to spray it because I just sprayed it before when we did that other piece. So next we're going to take this piece here, which I had stamped with the Memento ink, and then we're going to color that using this color scheme. We got It's Your Day done with Cajun Crage, and Relax Your Way, Happy Father's Day, also done in Cajun Crage. Okay. And we have the flesh tone next, so that is going to be the natural tone 800. So, and I'm going to use the nub. And we'll do his face, a little bit of his face that we can see. And then we're going to do both of his arms, and we'll do both of his legs. And I won't be speeding this up at all because it's so easy. And I'm not doing any shading on the legs. I'm just going to go back and make sure I'm not missing anything. Okay. Then next we have his hat, which is in dark crumb cake and light crumb cake. And we'll use the dark first, and I'm just going to go over this, the lines that are stamped there. And then we'll use the light crumb cake. And I'm going to pull from outside inward. And I think this is starting to go dry too, so I'm going to have to get a new one. I have a new one already bought, but I want to make sure I use this one up first before I open that other one. Okay. And then as long as I have this out here, I'm going to move down to his shorts and do that with the dark crumb cake first. And again, I'm just going over the lines that was already given from the stamp there. And then we're doing the light crumb cake. And I'm going from the outside inward. Okay. All right, then we've got his shirt, his t-shirt, which I'm going to use the dark Calypso coral and the light Calypso coral. And we'll use the dark first. And this is how I was telling you that I did this t-shirt, or this shirt here as well. Did similar technique where you just go over these lines there with the dark. And then we'll come back in with the light Calypso coral and we'll blend those into the shirt. So I'm going to go from the dark inward. Now I know when I did the other card, this one here, I came back after I got the rest of the card done. I came back and blended some more because it just seemed to be the dark Calypso coral was darker than I wanted it to be. So I didn't want those lines to be as bold as they were. So we'll probably do the same thing. So I'm going to leave this marker out. I'm going to cap it, but I'm going to leave it out. So hopefully we won't forget to do that. Then the next thing is the chair sling. So the chair sling is there's stripes right through here. It's that little pocket that he's sitting in. So we're going to do that in the dark Calypso coral and the dark Just Jade. And we're going to do like every other one. So the outermost one was done in Just Jade. And there's just a hair down there, so I'm going to do that. And then I'm going to skip one and do the next one in Just Jade. Skip one. And then the next one over we skip. And then we come back to the left side of his neck, and that should be a Just Jade again. And then the very outer one's going to be Just Jade. So we're going to just touch those little pieces there and down here as well. Then we're going to come in with the dark Calypso coral. And I have a little bit where I went outside the line, and I'm just going to see if I can't push it in with my color lifter. We're going to go over that with the coral. And let me see if I just use this paper. But I didn't want to blend coral and Just Jade. So I'm going to start up here. And up here, we'll leave that for last down here. And I'm thinking as I'm looking at it, it's not fading as, the stripes aren't fading as much as is on the other one. So I might have used the lighter marker rather than the dark marker. But it's okay. It looks fine. So next we can put this on our card base. So we're going to put dimensionals on the back. And I'm going to have 5 dimensionals again. And we'll just use our Take Your Pick tool. I think sometimes I miss the wastebasket, and that's how those get wrangled up and transferred out into the rest of the living space in the house. And this one's going right center, and it'll leave about 1/2 inch for a border around it. 1/2 inch translates to 1.27 centimeters, so that'd be 1.3 centimeters. So then we're going to take this piece here and we're going to put a dimensional on the inside of that. So it's on the right side as you're looking at it from this way. And then we're going to put dimensionals along here. What I have is one of these where we trim those up, the edges here. I'm just going to use these edges like that to go along the let's see, we got the right. So we're going to go right here. And then we'll put glue right in the top portion. There we go. And then I'm just going to have the points line up this all the way to the white, and on the left side, I'm sorry, on the right side to the white, and then on the bottom. And I don't think I took the, yeah, I didn't take the papers off. It was sliding all over the place. So let's see if we can't try that again. Yeah, that works much better when the paper's off of there. That is our third and final card. I hope you liked this project as much as I did. You could change out the Happy Father's Day to Happy Birthday, and it'll be a great card. Why don't you give it a try? I want to point out again that this stamp set is going to be retiring May 2nd. So if you would like to order it, you'll need to act fast. Now, if you have enjoyed today's video, would you do me 2 favors? Click the thumbs up emoji. That means you like it. And would you share it on social media with your crafting friends and pin it to Pinterest? These actions will help me to keep sharing my ideas with other crafters for free, and I'd really appreciate that. Be sure to hit the subscribe button below so you won't miss any future videos. If you have any questions, be sure to contact me. I'm here to help in any way that I can. If you don't have a Stampin' Up! Demonstrator, I'd love to be your demonstrator. Just reach out to me. If you'd like to place a Stampin' Up! Order or would like a catalog, hop over to my website where you'll find the Shop Now button. To shop with me, you'll need to go to joanheberlein.stampinup.net. Mark your calendars. I'll be back in 2 weeks on May 14th at 7 p.m. Central Time, and we'll be doing something new from the new catalog. I hope you'll be here to join me. Thanks so much for being here with me tonight. I look forward to next time. Bye for now, and don't forget to subscribe.